welcome to the Porch. My name is Jacob Hayes. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to listen to my thoughts on the sporting events of the past week, as well as anticipation for the ones to come. This episode is just an introduction for the podcast. I'm going to go over some expectations for how episodes are going to be laid out and what you can expect for the content of the future. Before I go over the layout, I just want to give a quick introduction for the podcast if this is your first time tuning in. What is the Porch about? This podcast is designed for anyone who's interested in sports, the stories that they create, and the athletes that play them. And it's all from the perspective of a college student and former athlete. This platform will be releasing 3 different types of episodes in hopes of best organizing contents so you know exactly what you're listening to. The first type of episode, and the majority of the episodes released, will cover professional sports, particularly baseball, basketball, and football. Outside of professional sports, I will also dive into college basketball and college football. The goal time frame for these episodes is between 20 and 25 minutes, never more than 30. I don't want to waste your time, and I want to make my thoughts clear and concise. You can expect 2 of these episodes a week, one covering the weekday events and the other one covering the weekend. The second type of episode on this podcast will be taking an in-depth look at George Fox Athletics. George Fox University is a school that I currently attend, and I'm directly plugged into the athletic department through athletic training, which is my major, and the sports media team, in which I'm a writer. My plan is to interview athletes from around campus from all different sports in hopes of better knowing them within their sport, but also their goals and aspirations outside of their sport. There are really some incredible athletes who compete for the Bruins. I want this podcast to be a place where I can showcase them. I can't promise a regular upload schedule for these, but I hope to get one up every other week, if not more often. The final episode that I will be featuring on this podcast is a more personal type of episode. Outside of the great friends that I have who compete at George Fox University and the professional sports that I'm excited about covering, I want to include some of my friends who have been important in the formation and development of who I am. These episodes will, of course, have sports content. I'm excited for the hot takes and lively discussion, but we'll branch out into other topics as well. They're going to be more of a conversation than an interview, and they're going to be released, honestly, whenever I can find the time to record them. They're not going to be nearly as common as the first or second types. As for other content outside the podcast, I also want to host a live stream every once in a while to discuss an important sporting event while it's happening or just after. This would, of course, give me a chance to connect with you, my audience, to answer questions and discuss what's taking place, and give the audience a chance to guide the conversation. The dates for these will, of course, be announced ahead of time before they're going to happen, and they'll be made known through the Porch's social media platforms. On the note of social media, if you want to keep up to date on when podcasts are releasing, as well as getting some inside information, the Porch has an Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter page, as well as a YouTube channel. Whenever an episode drops, I will be uploading that information onto those social media platforms. And if you have any questions about what was said on a specific episode or pushback on any of my opinions, I really do want to hear those. So please post your questions, thoughts, and disagreements in the comment threads of those posts. Or, of course, you can send me a direct message. Ultimately, I want to incorporate the discussion portion that happens in a comment thread into a segment on the podcast devoted to answering those questions, as well as defending my opinions and possibly even changing my mind based on new information that comes about. Before I wrap up here, I want to do just a brief bio about myself for those who are curious about who's even talking into the mic. My name is Jacob Hayes, and I am an athletic training major at George Fox University. Originally, I am from Santa Rosa, California, and I grew up playing baseball and basketball while also running cross country and track. Being from the Bay Area, I am a huge Bay Area sports fan. My teams are 100% the San Francisco Giants, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Golden State Warriors. That bias, I promise you, will show up in future episodes, so you have been fairly warned. Overall, I just love sports, and I love being around athletes who love the sport they play, which is the reason why I designed this podcast. I want this to be a platform and a space to be excited about athletes and the sport that they play. My anticipation for this podcast gets bigger every day, and I really hope you're looking forward to it just as much as I am. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy all the future content. Keep making it happen.